Oh, you're live now? Hey.
I'm live with the spring bloom.
I like it.
I'm gonna do, I don't know how distracting this is gonna be for our talk today.
Well,
but I'm thinking about doing the spring bloom, shake it up and see what y'all think about doing our lives this way. Did you turn that one on?
Not yet.
Let's not do live. Let's not do that on the main.
Okay. Well, this is the other Instagram. I just have to get.
Elizabeth, how are you?
I feel like we need an assistant to set up our.
Oh, goodness. Are y'all coming to the lift? It's Saturday. Y'all have to come. You're in all the pictures. I would be really sad.
These glasses maybe look older or smarter?
Smarter.
Oh, okay. As long as it's not older. I'm not ready to look older yet.
What's
this?
It's bike spray. Hey, you gotta go. We're doing
I
our
have some back spray.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start the live here.
Okay. Bye.
Get this
Did you start that one?
Live here. Live here. Okay.
I don't know if I can.
What just happened?
I didn't do it.
Create live stream.
Yay! I don't know how to like.
Instagram is working. I
don't
don't
know how
if
to
this is
like
working.
your comment.
I may have to. Okay.
I guess I don't have to like it. I'll just say, yay, Elizabeth. What, baby?
This is not working.
What is that?
I want to.
Yeah, can you guys?
Okay.
We're only gonna be on here for 30 minutes. If you want something, you gotta get it. And then, okay, they're playing the piano. Those are.
Hey guys, it's quiet time. Thank you.
Hey Zay. Remember, you guys said you wanted ice cream sandwiches, so that means you have to be quiet. Why don't you guys go back in the room?
Okay, we are ready to go. I think we have all of the.
It's good though to wait until everybody knows that we're here
Okay.
and to do all the things.
So I'm gonna take my glasses off in a little bit though.
I like
Oh, she says she thinks she's coming. Did you already read that?
Yeah. I did.
Okay.
I told her I didn't know how to like her comment, so
Oh.
but I'm excited.
So, hi everybody. It's Friday night again. We are here and we want to talk about. We're trying to think of some things to talk about. So, vitamin and nutrient deficiencies,
Hold
which
on.
affects everybody. But
Time
before.
out. Everybody look at my shirt. Hold on.
Oh yes,
I do.
Look at the shirt.
So this one has a baby on it. Can you see it? Isn't it cute? Look. So we got the new shirts in with the mom and the baby. So if you guys want to order them, they are live on the website and you can get them and they're super cute. So we have this style with the mom and the baby on. What I have on right now is an extra large jersey tee. So it's pretty roomy. I've worn and they're super soft. I've worn the large one as well. I'm just feeling puffy today, so I wore the bigger one. You don't look puffy today. Thank you, I appreciate it. And then we have the V-necks, and then we have the unisex sweatshirt, and then we have the julep hoodies are really nice. They're very, very soft. They're very, very soft, and they're super pretty. And then we also have the bags. So, and it's a pretty blue color. And I actually need to upload that one. So I'll put the bags up there too if you wanted to. Yeah, they're pretty. If you guys want to have something cute to carry your groceries or like a I don't know, it could be a gym bag, could be a beach bag, but they're really, really cute, big, and they're like bluish.
Oh, I have to look at these.
Yeah, they're very cute.
I am a bag.
What is this one doing? Anything?
Oh, what was that? This was supposed to do your personal one. Oh, no.
No, that's my personal.
That's your Purple Days? This is Total Family then. I'll get that started.
That's
Instagram.
Total Family.
This is Instagram Total Family. This is Facebook Total Family. We have lots going on, guys.
Yes, the lift is the 29th. It's this Saturday.
A week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow.
So we're coming up. So next Friday we won't be doing this because we're going to be preparing for the lift. So we have lots of great giveaways. We're going to have online giveaways as well as in-person giveaways, social distancing, keeping everybody safe. It's going to be a wonderful event. We have lots of great giveaways. If you go to the website, you can see some of the things, some of the sponsors. It's going to be a great event. It's been a great event, a fun event every year, but this year I'm telling you guys, even with the pandemic, it's going to be even better. You have to stay centered, don't you?
I know.
So it's going to be even better.
95% that's a good percentage, Elizabeth. I hope to see you guys there. It's going to be fun. So we'll still have all of the activities. We will also be, following all of the rules for this. This is interesting. I don't know how long I'm gonna leave y'all on the
filter.
On the filter, but the if you guys can't join online, can we fix? This is not gonna work. If we can do, if you can't join us online, in person, you can also join us online, which is gonna be super cool as well. If you're planning on joining online, please still register. Go and say that you guys are gonna get a ticket, because that helps us to know, how well marketing and all those things and getting the word out to everybody. So if you're planning on joining online, we want to keep track of everybody that participated,
yes.
Where you're at and all of those things, because those things are really helpful. And we're going to do same amount of the giveaways are going to be online as they are.
We have gift cards, we have orthopedic massage,
we have two
bras, we have nursing bras.
Yeah, we have the nursing bras. We also have 2 carriers, infant carriers that we're giving away. I think we're doing an Ergo and a Moby maybe.
Oh,
so
awesome.
You'll be able to get those as well. Alan at Motility Bodywork is giving away free
2 bodyworks.
2 bodywork sessions. So what I'm trying to do is get even of everything. So we'll give away a bodywork to someone that is there live, in person, and then we'll also do one for online.
And so let's talk about really quickly, I know some of the people that are joining already know, but why are we having the lift? What's the purpose of it, kind of in a blurb?
Well, this is National, we're in National Breastfeeding Awareness Month, right? And then next week is Black Breastfeeding Week. And so the first week of August is World Breastfeeding Week. Second week of August is Native American Breastfeeding Week, which is awesome. If you're not already, if you're on social media, on Facebook or Instagram, there is a Native Breastfeeding Week page that you can, like and subscribe to. And there's a ton of great information on there. There's a great doula, Jaisha Echo Hawk, started that, and she's right here from Tulsa. And then week 3, I believe, is mostly planning and doing different things, but it's all, surrounded around breastfeeding awareness, which is, what this month is about. And then Black Breastfeeding Week is the last week of August, which we're going into. And so I chose to do our event during Black Breastfeeding Week because of the disparities in the amount of women Black women that breastfeed, and then also just the fact that breastfeeding saves lives, and our mortality rates, our infant mortality rates and our maternal mortality rates in the Black community are in most states 2 to 3 times as high, but in Tulsa, Oklahoma specifically, we are at about 4 times the rate of what our white babies are dying. And I love all babies, those of you that know me, but that is just a deplorable number. And when you look at it and they actually dissect it and take away the different socioeconomic factors, race is the big player. So we want to make sure that we can not only normalize, but also, educate and then come together, because one of the things that I always say is, Martin Luther King didn't march alone, and no one is going to get anywhere in this amazing country of ours, by themselves. So I am a big believer in community, but of all of us working together to change, everybody's trajectory. So our nonprofit focuses on Black maternal health, but we also are very concerned about our Hispanic women, our Native women, our Asian women, and there's such a big variety, there. But getting into that specifically, our Burmese women, our Vietnamese women, these different things, when they're all a part of this country. And when you have someone that doesn't speak the language or that has a different culture, they still deserve to get excellent care. And so that is why we do what we do. And it's, big. I'm big on community and spending time together. And I feel like right now we need a party. We've all been locked up in the house, you know what I mean? And so it'll be fun for everybody to get together, even if we're online, together. So I am not providing masks, but you are encouraged to bring one, because if you want to go inside of the building, you have to have one, because it is, if you're not actively eating and you're inside in Tulsa, you have to have on a mask. So to go into Foolish Things to get some of the delicious food that RNG Grocers is preparing, and she sent me her menu. There's 4 different dishes, and they're going to be prepackaged, so you'll get to pick what you want. And she's going to have a little recipe with each one. So, you guys also know that I'm big on food and learning how to eat healthy. So if there's something that you really like, and you want to go home and cook it, the recipe will be there for you. And then all of those ingredients will be available to purchase at RNG Grocers. And, she focuses on live, healthy, fresh foods and fruits and vegetables and those types of things. And we're also going to be giving a gift card away for RNG Grocers. So if you are in the area of where her mobile food truck goes, you would be able to go and shop there. And really, you can go and shop there regardless. You would just need to find where she's going to be at that time. So we will have food, we will have fun outside, we will have entertainment. Charlie Red and the Full Flavor Kings will be there playing. We have a ton of vendors, everything there. Pretty much is free. If you want to get a t-shirt, you will be able to purchase those, or you can pre-order for the t-shirts or pins, because that goes towards the non-profit. But other things like that, the services that you get or anything like that, those things will be free. And the first 50 people get a free gift bag, and it's just gonna be a good time, Yes. And we always have face paint and balloon making and those types of things, so the kids will be able to have fun too and run around and all of those things. So we are super excited, and I'm excited to see all of you. And again, like I said, register if you're online, register if you are coming in person. So yes. We're gonna kind of switch gears. I just wanted to touch on all of that since the lift is coming up in 8 days. Super excited. Saturday the 29th from 1 to 4 at Foolish Things or online, and we will be doing interviews, live streaming from Instagram. We will have the whole thing streaming from the Total Family Wellness website, and we will be sharing different interviews and the raffles on our various social media platforms. So excited. And
yes, excited.
Yay,
it is.
I can't wait to
we'll
see
be
everybody.
Yes, it'll be exciting, because next time you'll see us, we'll be there.
Yes. Hi, Julie. How are you doing? I know that you are still kind of in, but I just wanted to say hey, because I saw you popped up there. So yeah, we're going to talk about nutrient deficiencies, and specifically we're going to talk about vitamins that we see people are deficient in the most.
And so before I just jump in and say it, I'll say in general, there's different ways to test for this. And some of the most common ways that we see that in general is going to be through the serum, which you do a venipuncture in the arm, the typical blood test that you do. So that's the serum. So that does give us an idea, because if that level is deficient, there's a high likelihood that your cells aren't getting what it needs to.
Right.
There are other testing out there that's more advanced, that is even better. Not all practitioners will do them. Of course, we do them. And we do. And so there's another one that checks how your nutrients are working at the cellular level. But what I really love about that test, it's not just about do you have the nutrients that you need, but it also tests cellular function. How well are your cells functioning? And as we know, we're made up of cells. And so if our cells aren't functioning the way they need to be functioning, our bodies aren't going to function the way they need to be functioning. So this is going to be it's a great way to test that. But in general, what I see when we do even just basic lab tests, and so when I do a basic lab test, if you come in and see me, a lot of times I do a kind of what I think of as screening, but it's a little more advanced than maybe traditional medical doctors do. Not all of them. Some of them will do some of these. So I will do a complete lipid panel with some other things. I will do a thyroid panel. I will also do things like your B12 levels, your methylfolate levels, which is your folate levels, your vitamin D. I like to check for omegas. And then we can also do what we call a chem panel. So we're checking, kidney function, and we're checking liver enzymes and things like that. I also like to do a complete blood cell count. But in the vitamin part, and Montique and I have talked about this, it's very, very common to see the same things over and over. And it's really interesting because when you see that, you say, why? And there's definitely reasons why. But when we see it as a commonality between most people, it also gives us the leeway to say, generally if you don't know what you should be taking, almost everybody's in deficiency. So the top one, and we have a talk on this one, is vitamin D. So we won't talk a whole lot about it. We have a talk called The Lowdown on Vitamin D. And so it's a really good talk about why vitamin D is important. But I see that as a really big one that most of us are deficient in. One of the main reasons, so vitamin D is one of the fat-soluble vitamins. But one of the main reasons is because we are not out in the sun as much as we were a long time ago.
Right, and something that a friend of mine that is actually a contractor, I don't even know how we got on that subject, but our windows now are all UV protected.
Yes.
So where it used to be back in the day where, if you had a baby that was jaundiced, you could bring them home and sit them in the window. You don't get that same exposure because we make windows so that we don't get too much sun. So you're not getting that inside through your windows. So you really have to actually step outside, you know what I mean, to get that sun that you need,
Yes.
And even a lot of times removing your glasses, you know what I mean, or maybe going out without your contacts on and just kind of getting outside, getting your feet on the ground like we've talked about before with getting grounded. And grounding is, getting your feet on the ground barefoot, right? And pretty much just connecting with the earth. Those are things that are super important, but you're getting that sunshine while you're out there.
And these are not weird things. These are actually scientific proven things. So a lot of times when people think, oh, that's what tree huggers do and that's what these weird people, it's really not true. It is things that there's a reason behind why they work, why we need to be doing this.
Right. So the vitamin D is one that we both see. We also last time, that's been a while actually.
It's been maybe a month ago.
Wow,
yeah.
We've been doing this a long time. So even with my mamas, I talk to you guys a lot about, vitamin D and you want to make sure if you're breastfeeding that you're getting at least the 6,400 IUs of vitamin D so that you have enough vitamin D in your breast milk for your baby. Normally, I feel like moms do really good right at about that 10,000 level. And then we know that you're getting enough for yourself and you're getting enough for your baby while you're breastfeeding. And that's a proven pretty safe number for vitamin D for most of us because, again, like I said, we're not outside. For younger folks, like, I don't know.
Talking about kids or young adults?
No, young adults.
It's this. I would say it's the same. 5,000 is a really good.
For like the 13-year-olds.
But to be honest, it's really interesting because the supplement quality and everything. Getting tested is the best, but even in the meantime, 5,000 IUs for a young adult or older is minimal. It's the baseline to be able to do that. But it is one of the biggest ones. Vitamin D deficiency is linked to obesity. Vitamin D deficiency is linked to increased risk of cancer, increased risk of diabetes, or diabetes is related to low vitamin D levels are related to so many different things. Mm-hmm. And side note, it's not really a vitamin, it's a pre-hormone, but that's a whole nother talk. But it does so many different things. Pre-hormone. So it does so many different things.
We need to talk about hormones.
We will. I think
we're gonna try to keep it
Labor Day.
After Labor Day.
We're gonna get some really good stuff.
Get more serious with y'all.
Yes, because there's some stuff that people ask us all of the time, and the information is there, but it's not. So if we can provide a way to have a dialogue about it, I think it's great, especially for our niche of patients that we have.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So vitamin D. Another one we see a lot are B vitamins. So B vitamins in general, I see a lot of deficiency in. I'll say this a lot of times. So anytime we have stress can be physical stress, emotional stress, any of that. Our bodies or cells are going to use B vitamins more.
Right.
Then we also know that certain medications are also going to deplete some of our B vitamins. So this is where we see, but one of the most common I see is going to be B12 and folate. But I've seen more, but B12 is huge. B12 is only found in animal products or yeast, and so if you're vegan, this is definitely one you're probably going to have to supplement with.
Okay.
It also is, so here's another thing. So you can have high levels of serum B12, but if you don't have intrinsic factor or some other things going on to process that, then your cells aren't really getting the B12 it needs. So that's why I do like that cellular function test that I was talking about to do that. But B12 is another one. And the form of B12 is important.
Right.
So we hear methylated all the time. So a methylated form is important.
Yes.
There are 4 or 5 forms of B12 that are common. And so I like... methylcobalamin is the most common. I would stay away from cyanocobalamin. It's a cheap form. And then I like adenosine and hydroxycobalamin, but those are also ones that you don't find them as common. Typically methylcobalamin. There are some people that don't do well with methylcobalamin, and we would switch them to hydroxy or adenosylcobalamin.
So when you're talking about the folate, I know that a lot of times moms are told, to get your B's in, get a prenatal that has, plenty of folic acid in it. I know we're not going to go down, we discussed not going down the MTHFR rabbit hole tonight, but we do want to touch on the fact that, if you have MTHFR, getting folic acid can actually be damaging.
And actually, if you don't have MTHFR, I don't like folic acid either.
Well, yeah, I don't like folic acid either, but what we're saying is you want to get a
methylated folate.
Yeah.
So there's.
But I've read, isn't that true though? Because I've read that. I think I was on Ben Lynch's site, and it seemed if you have MTHFR, it's more detrimental than if you don't.
Absolutely.
With the right.
Yes.
So that was the only point that I was saying. We all need folate, right? And you guys know that I am big on the foods that you eat. So in a perfect world, you would get all the folate that you need from your green leafy vegetables.
That all of us eat all the time.
Right.
It's our favorite food.
So most of us, don't. And so we need to make sure that we are supplementing those things. Yes. And the biggest thing for me that I will always say is if you are of childbearing age, you need to be on a folate. If you are married and you might get pregnant, you need to be on a folate and maybe
400 micrograms.
Okay, 400 micrograms of folate.
Maybe even 800.
I thought it was
800. I'm sorry.
8.
It's 800.
I do 8. But I just want y'all to make sure that you're on that because, your midline stuff, and you guys know that I do a lot with different type of midline defects, especially in my babies that have ties and things like that. But the things that when you're talking about midline, you're talking about your heart, your spine, your tongue.
And she's talking about the development of these. So when she's talking about midline, she's saying when you don't have the proper amounts of folate in your system, when these things are developing as a child, if you have a baby developing you, they don't develop properly.
Right, and those things develop within the first 4 weeks of life, and most of us don't know that you are even pregnant until that 4 weeks is passed, because that's when you miss your period, and that's when the doctor says, oh, okay, well, you need to go get on your prenatals. But if you're just now going to get on your prenatals and just now getting that folate in, really that ship has sailed. So you need to be preparing for pregnancy really your entire life, because you're growing a human, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's frustrating when people are like, oh, well, you're pregnant, or I'm pregnant, I can eat whatever I want. Really, you shouldn't. If you want to be the healthiest that you ever have been, during your pregnancy, because
before and during is ideal.
Before and during, because you are growing a person. And then labor is the hardest thing that you've ever done. It's like running a marathon. So you want to be...
It was hard.
It is. You want to be in shape and ready, And hard is relative, right?
It is relative.
So because running a marathon is hard, but if you're conditioned to run one, then it's not as hard. It's more challenging. Right. Yes. It's more challenging. And I'm not saying that labor is easy. It's going to be a challenge. But if you are healthy and ready for what you're going into, you're gonna have a more comfortable
and even
birth.
if it's not more comfortable, if your experience is that it was uncomfortable, the outcomes are better.
Right. So comfortable again is relative, right? Because I don't really know how I don't know how to call it. I mean, you know, but we associate labor, we go straight to pain, and there's a lot of women that don't feel
any pain,
that it was painful. They feel that it was challenging. They feel that it was work. They feel that it was hard, but they don't associate it with pain. And pain is a very mental experience. And when you're talking about, you know, that's just like you can cut yourself and not even know that you're cut until you look down and you see it and you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden it's throbbing and you're, you know, oh my God.
I agree, but I will say that it was painful. Like it was a challenge. It was hard. It was the hardest thing I ever done. I was healthy. Whew. It was almost 10 years ago though. So.
Was it?
Yeah. And I only had to do it once.
I would say that all of mine
has more experience.
Yeah, I have 3. I had 3 of those things, but it's but it is definitely, you know, it's every one of my birth experiences was very different. Maybe one day we can talk about birth experiences.
Oh, that would be good.
If somebody wants to talk about that. But Agape was, you know,
I feel like the birth experience is related to their personalities.
I think I
only know this by one experience, but you may have insight to that. So we should talk about.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Elizabeth, painful but good. You love giving birth. Yeah. See, I would say my favorite birth was my last one. Cadence was just, I mean, it was the first time that I ever had. I've always had like a midwife, but it was the first time that I had a midwife, and I had midwives in the hospital, which is really cool too. But it was the first time I had a midwife that actually like was there and labored down with me, and I was on the ball, and every time I would get stressed out, she would tell me, you know, hey, relax your brow and do these different, so I was able to focus, you know what I mean, on what I was doing, and I actually could feel cadence coming down and all of those things.
So you got to experience it in a different way.
that was a trip. And I mean, when she was there and crowning, I just remember being on the ball and just being like, okay, it's time for this baby. All right, it's
I didn't
time.
Get that quiet.
It's time to come out right now. You better do something. Get to whoever you gotta get, because I'm gonna push this baby out. Oh my God.
And we can talk about and maybe we can talk to some other moms too, just about experiences about different births, whether it's doctor, hospital, not hospital, midwife, home, by yourself, all those things.
Because your birth can be, you know, honestly, if you have the type of provider that is willing to let you birth, then your birth can be what you make it, and that can be in the hospital or at home. But still, that all depends on your health, because if you are unhealthy, right, from your diet, from weight, from
stress,
nutrition, from
lifestyle,
stress, from all of those things. If you've got gestational diabetes, if you've got high blood pressure, if you have all of these different things, that's going to limit your opportunities to be able to not birth in a way that we have to protect you. And so you want to make sure, you know, and even with that, there's still some great OBs that are willing to have you in a space to where we can make sure everything is still going okay, but we could also, you know, try to meet your needs. My point is, you want to go into having a baby, breastfeeding a baby as healthy as you
possible.
Can, right? And so
we're talking about these vitamin deficiencies.
Yes, we are. I got all off on having babies. It's like my favorite subject. We talk about having babies all night long. Okay.
This is what happens. Montika's like, I don't want to talk about anything, and then she has all this stuff that she can talk about. That's wonderful.
All day.
But we will be talking about that too.
We'll talk about that.
But this is a part of maternal health. Vitamin deficiency is and this is deficiencies that are across the board, men, women, and then of course they're starting. So, but when you are in childbearing ages, it even has more of an impact.
Right. Folate.
So vitamin
D. And methylated folate.
Methylated folate. Well, we said vitamin D first. Methylated folate, methylated B12.
Yes.
And other activated or methylated B vitamins. And again, if you have questions about these, we are the people to talk to.
Yes.
We can't give you all of our brains out all of the time. you don't want all of our brains.
But also getting quality vitamins is also important.
Absolutely.
Also, because if you get non-quality vitamins, then things
throwing
aren't
your money.
absorbed well, and then you are throwing your money away.
Or you're doing harm. So we don't want to do harm. You can do harm. And so one of the other things that I'll say next that I see huge deficiencies in is omega-3 fatty acids.
Okay.
So omega-3 fatty acids is huge. So this is what some people say fish oil. And that's the other thing where quality, this is one of the vitamins that hugely quality makes a difference.
Right.
I have had patients bring me in bottles and I read them and it's fish oil and they were trying to save money, but they were actually spending more money per milligram of fish oil than if they would have gotten from me. It wasn't absorbed. The type of fish oil that Montika and myself uses ourselves, that we also prescribe to our patients, is one of the highest quality fish oils you can get. It's highly absorbable, and we need these. So our cells, so there's 3 types of essential fatty acids. I'll be really quick with this. Essential means we have to ingest it or take it in. It means our bodies don't make it. So there are other fatty acids that our bodies can make, but essential fatty acids we cannot make. We have to consume them. The 3 are 3, 6, and 9. We consume as a society omega-6 is way beyond. Omega-6s are going to be things like most of our vegetable oils, most of our fats, nuts, and seeds are going to be omega-6s. Seafood, all of those, if we're eating steak and it has fats, it's either going to have saturated fat, or if it does have an essential fatty acid, it's typically going to be omega-6. So omega-3 fatty acids, we are deficient in these. Omega-3 fatty acids make up a part of our cell membrane. I like to think of it as if we don't have enough of these fats in our cell membranes, it makes them rigid. And so when it makes them rigid, our cell membranes are responsible for allowing things in and out of that cell and allowing for really the overall health of our bodies, what we can do. Our cells control everything in that regard. So if we don't have fatty acids, it prevents that from happening optimally. But the omega-3 fatty acids, that's a little more technical, but the things that we eat that have omega-3s in it. So fish oil is going to be one. So salmon, anchovies, sardines are great sources of omega-3s. The problem is, are they contaminated, right, with mercury? The other thing, so look at sources. We can probably have a whole talk on that one day.
Yeah, but what you even mentioned about those 3, your salmon, your anchovies, and your sardines, those are all really small fish.
They're small and they're deep cold water fish.
Right. And so your likelihood of those having a ton of mercury are a lot less than your
tuna, your
large fish, like your swordfish, your tunas. Those
mahi maybe.
Yeah. Are mackerel big?
No, mackerel's small, I think, because mackerel's the other one that usually they use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I could be wrong, but I'm
not sure on my fish if there's any.
But now salmon that is farmed doesn't count. You're talking about wild salmon.
Yes, I am talking about wild caught salmon, not cut salmon. Sounds good. Yeah, but we want to make sure that you're getting a quality omega, because the other thing, which I'm sure Dr. Crystal was getting, actually you were talking about 3, 6, you didn't do 9.
So 9 is found in like olive oil. Olive oil has a little bit of all, so like 9. So olive oil is a great source, but we don't really need as much 9. What I'm finding in general is, so what I look at is as how we are created. We really should be consuming omega-3 fatty acids at the same rate as omega-6 fatty acids. On average in this country, now it's a little bit better with the education and people taking fish oil and looking at what they're eating and food quality, 25 times more omega-6s than omega-3s. What I find more commonly now is like 10 times more omega-6s than omega-3s. But if we can get that down to 3 to 1, so 3 times omega-6s to omega-3s, it's best. What I'm saying is we should be eating the same amount of omega-3 fatty acids as we are omega-6s, but most of us eat 3 to 25 times more omega-6 fatty acids than omega-3s. And when that happens is your body overproduces and is going to be pro-inflammatory. We're going to produce inflammation from arachidonic acid. It's going to just continue. And so that's why we have some of the problems. It's not the only issue, but it's a big issue. If we shift that, omega-3s are going to be anti-inflammatory. So we want that to where we're not producing so much of the arachidonic acid. There's a whole cascade system. Here's the other deal with omega-3. So grass-fed beef is another thing that we can get omega-3s from. Grass-fed dairy is another thing we can get omega-3s. Flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds. These are all great sources of omega-3 fatty acids. Here's the problem though. When you have a plant form of omega-3 fatty acids like chia, hemp, flax seeds, compared to an animal form like salmon, sardines, mackerel, beef. And beef, grass-fed beef also has other things that are great as well. But I'm not telling you to overconsume grass-fed beef, because that we don't want to do that. We want to do that appropriately, but it is a fact that it has that. Then we have to convert. There's this whole cascade and process of being able to convert the form of omega-3s found in plants converted to the omega-3s found in animal products that actually we utilize directly. So when people tell me they're vegetarian and vegan, unless it's for religious reasons and it's for health reasons, I try to shy them the way. There's a really reason why we need animal foods. Now, there's a lot of more in-depth conversation with that, with quality, with amounts and all that. I'm not telling you should be animal heavy in your diet. You shouldn't be. You should be plant heavy in your diet. But to be completely animal free and completely, vegetarian or vegan, there can be some issues with that, and we have to make sure we have those gaps. That's a side note. So having these, we have to have all this process to convert it, and those take lots of B vitamins. So again, when you're deficient in B vitamins, you're deficient in this, and you have stress, you're deficient in zinc, you're deficient in magnesium, which we're going to talk about, and you're taking only plant forms, you are not getting the amount of omega-3s that you need. So most people are deficient in omega-3s. The easiest thing to do is clean up your diet, yes, but just make sure you are on a quality fish oil supplement. I have not found anyone who does not need to be on a quality fish oil supplement to some degree, So, and make sure it's quality, because those fish oils can be contaminated. They're not getting them from the deep water fish. They're getting them from whatever fish, and that is not what you want.
Right. You can actually, like you were talking about earlier, you can do harm if you are getting, poorly sourced omega. So that's also something that's important. And then also you're not going to have the anti-inflammatory type properties that we're wanting to see if you are getting enough of those omega-3s.
Yes.
So we did vitamin B, vitamin D, we did omegas. Let's talk about magnesium. You brought that up.
And magnesium is involved in over 400 chemical reactions in the body, cellular reactions, and maybe even more. I could be missing the mark. It's one of my favorites. And it's one of the favorites because there's so many great things. Because when you're deficient in magnesium and you give somebody magnesium, guess what? They feel better.
They feel better. And a lot of my mamas, they will, other things that I like about magnesium is a muscle relaxer and it's a vasodilator. A lot of people don't realize that Epsom salt is magnesium. So, where like my grandma used to love to take Epsom salt baths and Epsom salt soaks, I feel like people have gotten away from doing a lot of those old practices, but that is super helpful. And those are things, you can, there's magnesium oil, there's magnesium lotion. Of course, taking some magnesium, you'll know if you get too much magnesium because your stools will get runny, but a lot of times when you're having trouble stooling or hard stools or stools that are painful to pass, those are signs of being deficient in magnesium. And if you can get a good quality magnesium, a lot of times that can really, really help you to be comfortable when you're stooling, because you should be, and you need magnesium as far as your digestion is considered as well, and many other things, as Dr. Crystal was talking about.
Yes, and magnesium is one of those things that, like Montika said, that we take it to bowel tolerance a little bit, or if you have a little bit, like medical magnesia is something when people take when they're constipated. I think there's better ways. But the reason why some of us are deficient is we just don't have, our electrolyte fluid imbalance is off, but a lot of times it's because we're not consuming it, obviously. And green leafy vegetables is another thing that has high amounts of magnesium that we're not consuming. And not only should you be doing green leafy vegetables, because some people say, well, I eat salads all the time, but what's unfortunate is our food sometimes is still not enough because if it's not organic, it's been sitting in a supermarket for over a week, so it's losing its nutrient value. There's so many things, and it gets overwhelming. And so a lot of times what Montika and myself try to do is really try to balance it to where we can give you, when you come in and we see what's going on, we want to make it less overwhelming for you. And so we'll say, for you, this is what's best. For somebody, it might be eating salads and testing it and doing those things, and they see. For somebody else, it might be doing a weekly Epsom salt bath, or it might be taking a magnesium supplement. But a lot of times I do recommend minerals and things. And I also recommend, like with muscle relaxation, it's a natural muscle relaxer, and vasodilator, meaning it's open the blood vessels up, so it's allowing blood flow to increase. It is great. Yes. Sometimes we get into the technical world. And
I didn't mean to say it like, well, I mean, I meant to say it, but I should have explained it as well. So those are some other things. As far as like specific nutrient questions, if you want to give us a call, we can definitely give you guys recommendations. I don't like to say specific brands that I like, just because I don't want to come across as what's the word where you're like I'm not trying to promote a specific
but I
brand.
will say there is a website that you can go to check different brands to see if they're good. It's it's the good manufacturing practices. So the GMP website, you can Google it and it will tell you if that brand has good manufacturing practices, and if it does, then you go back and you read the label, and means it has what it says that it has in it. And so they have to meet certain criteria to be on that list. There was supposed to be, several years ago, the FDA was supposed to come out where they weren't allowed some of these brands to manufacture, and they had to meet certain requirements, and they haven't enforced that. So you do have to filter through good supplements, and Montika and myself can help you with that. And even though I have my favorite, and we have a reason why we have our favorite, but there is a way to say, you can get, there's definitely other good brands out there as well.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. The last thing I think that we were going to touch on, which it's not a vitamin, but it still is high on our list of things that people are deficient in. And even when we're talking about the green leafy vegetables and things like that, is your gut health, and all of these things can help with your gut health, but probiotics is going to be our last big one that we want to talk about.
So we don't eat a lot of fermented foods. We're taking antibiotics. We're also exposed to lots of animal foods that have antibiotics. The animals were treated just prophylactically with antibiotics, meaning that they were given antibiotics just to prevent them getting sick, not just for a sickness or illness. And so
and milk is a big one for that. I know that we talk a lot about, grass-fed, grass-finished, but honestly, like, if you can find a local farmer that where that cow has been and how that cow has been raised, I know that that's a little bit extra work, but that is like such a big deal, because when you think about how our dairy and our cows are processed, especially for my mamas, when you're think about using a pump, and how when you're pumping, sometimes it's not as easy to get milk out from all of the different spots in your breast, right? Where we say like a baby is going to be more efficient, than the pump. These cows are not being, that's not a baby. It's not even like a hand, like a machine. Someone's not manually doing it. It is, they're hooked up to these machines, and then they're like, rant, rant, rant. So a lot of these cows, they have mastitis. And for those mamas that have seen what mastitis looks like when, it comes out, and that, you've got that chunky blob of like pus and milk together.
Sounds so lovely.
Yes, but it's real life. And so then you're talking about antibiotics, right? You guys go on antibiotics for mastitis. These cows have a ton of that because anytime you're hooked up to a machine like that, and you're, they keep them in a state of being pregnant, and I don't know, when I think about it like that, it's sad. They get them pregnant, they take the baby away, so then we're taking the milk and the calf is going somewhere else. And if I go into that, then I'm just be like, I'm never drinking milk again.
I'm telling you, it's so different than a long time ago when we were when we were consuming milk. I mean, and there's goat's milk and cow's milk and all of these things that can in some ways be very healthy and beneficial, right. And there are,
but the way we process things make things more difficult for us to actually get the nutrients from them and for it not to be damaging. So my point is, when you're talking about why these cows are getting so many antibiotics, when you're talking about chickens being super crowded and on top of each other and things like that, they have to have the antibiotics to keep them healthy. They have to do things to treat the milk to keep it white, right? Because if not, then it's going to be stained, just like your milk is stained, right? When you have, and we say, oh, well, it's okay to give pink milk, if you have like a sore or something like that. Yeah, it's okay. That's your breast milk. But do we really want to be drinking, cow's milk that has, mastitis and remnants and stuff in there? So those are the types of things that I'm saying, if you can, it is really, really important and best to get a grass-fed, grass-finished cow or a cow from somewhere where they're minimally processed and things like that, instead of just grabbing something off the shelf. The organic brands do a much better job. But the more I learn about organic standards and things like that, I don't know. It's this huge rabbit hole that I'm not trying to go down right now.
Well, we can maybe take a talk about that, because we're actually very fortunate in Oklahoma. We have a lot of access to good quality farms and things that do that. But you do have to do a little bit of research, but it's a little bit easier accessible. If you're kind of in the realm of you're looking for it, you'll start finding farmers all over the place. And we have farmers markets here that have, and
in most places you can find a local farmers market. But I think, I did kind of go off on a tangent, but my reason for that is because we're talking about antibiotics. And there's antibiotics in so many things. And many of us get, if you were GBS positive, you've had antibiotics. Possibly, any type of dental stuff.
So GBS positive is if you have group B strep when you're pregnant.
When you're pregnant, sorry.
and so you're going to be typically put on an antibiotic because that's harmful to the baby if you're positive for that.
Or if you have to have a cesarean section, you're going to have, antibiotics there. And then there's millions of other reasons, from males to females as to why, you would have antibiotics if you got an abscessed tooth or whatever. Every time you have antibiotics, it's not only killing the bad bacteria, it's also killing, the bacteria that we want. So that's where gut healing, and just taking a probiotic is not gut healing. It's helpful, but it's not, it's not going to heal. That's not going to heal your gut.
That's more intensive.
Right. So, but we still are lacking, in probiotics. So having a diet that has, the ferments. And you want to find something that's actually ferment. Because a lot of times people are like, well, I eat pickles and I eat sauerkraut. But if your pickles are on the center aisle of the grocery store, they are not alive. Because that's not where live things hang out. So, and I even will say that you still have to read your label, because there are brands that are refrigerated that are just, pickles soaked in vinegar, and they're still not alive. They're just being kept cold. So you want to find a pickle, a sauerkraut, a miso, any type of fermented vegetables that may be out there, or your kombuchas. With your kombuchas, you want to watch those, right? Because a lot of them are more juice than they are.
So there's some good brands of kombucha. Although add sugar a lot to them. But if you get there's good brand kombuchas. That's annoying. And there's
read your labels.
Also fermented cottage cheese. There's fermented yogurt.
Yes, but read it.
But read it.
Read your label. Just because it says pickles, don't assume.
You need to pick one and just start doing that, because that is one that is hard. I get this question all the time about how do you know.
What do you mean pick one? Pick one what?
Pick we need. We need to pick like a topic about food and like how to tell, like reading labels and what, how do I know if I should eat cottage cheese or not, or if it's grass-fed? Like, what is that? Like the best cottage cheese, the best eggs.
I just feel like that would be okay. We might. Okay.
See.
We'll think about it. I mean, that would be fun, but then to get that, then we're getting
could do
back
a live
into
at
that
the grocery
whole
store.
promoting thing. I guess we could just do several.
Yes.
Ooh, we could do a live at the grocery store.
Yeah, we could do a
that
live at the
sounds
grocery
like fun.
store.
We could do a live at the grocery store and go around and say, this is the section that has A, B, C, and D. That sounds like a good time. But yes, read your labels. If it is alive, it'll tell you that it's got live cultures in it, or live probiotics, or that it's fermented. And those are the words that you want to look for on your labels. Can you guys turn that light back on, please? When you're looking for your probiotics. And then also getting a quality probiotic. When you're going to get a quality probiotic, if you're going to buy one, you want one that has lots of different strains, and then also several billions.
And we can talk to you about that. It's a little
and we
different.
can talk about that also.
Okay.
And then there's specific strains that are better
for certain things
as well.
Yes.
And that would be, if you guys wanted to come and see us, we could kind of target that for you.
And that is why we can give some basic, everybody should be doing this, but really targeted support, targeted, interventions is something that probably having a dialogue with Montika or myself is the best thing to do, because we can tailor it to you. What we're talking about now is not tailored specifically to an individual. So it's good things, but then how do you know it's really working or not? And so,
okay.
Yes.
Well, we're going to sign off.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us. I hope to see everyone at the lift. And if you are a pregnant mama, if you are a breastfeeding mama, if you breastfed any time in your life, if you got grandbabies that are breastfed or anything like that, you can come out. Moms and dads, it is family friendly. And so moms, dads, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, everyone is welcome. We're going to have a great time. And if you can't join us in person, please join us online.
Yes. And we'll see you there.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Is it still going?
Yes.
Oh no.
Get back.
Alright.
Hi. Yes.
Hello.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. Do we have the ice cream?